From the 1011 Now streaming studio, this is 1011's Morning Pulse.
Sponsored by Murray Roofing.
Good morning and happy Valentine's Day. This is Craig Allison with your Morning Pulse for Friday, February 14th. Our first story this morning is on the holiday. People are expecting to shell out some big bucks this Valentine's Day. According to the National Retail Federation, shoppers plan to spend an average of nearly $189 on today's holiday. That's up by about a $3 average over last year. In total, consumers are expected to spend a record $27.5 billion on this year's Valentine's Day. Second story in health news this morning, positive flu cases have skyrocketed in Lincoln and Lancaster County compared to previous years. The health department says predicting how bad each season is going to be is becoming increasingly more difficult. In January, Lancaster County saw more than 900 positive flu tests, the most in the month of January since 2018. The next closest was 2020, with a little more than 550 positive tests. Third story, when it comes to Lincoln, the homeless population has actually decreased by 50% since 2012, from nearly 1,000 to about 500, according to the annual point-in-time count. But officials working to address homelessness say long-term solutions are a better fit for addressing the problem and ultimately reduce the need for large-capacity shelters. But for times when temporary shelter space is needed, for example in extreme weather like we've been recently having, both the city and county are planning a new 60-bed low-barrier emergency shelter. The mission also plans to build a secondary housing space by 2027. Fourth story in our crime tracker out of Colfax County. 40-year-old Rodolfo Catura Nogueiras of Columbus has been convicted of murdering his roommate, 45-year-old Ariel Varilla Harar, as well as shooting someone else. Nogueiras was sentenced to 50 to 70 years for second-degree murder and 50 to 20 years for second-degree assault. Back in November, he took a plea deal, seeing charges of first-degree murder and first-degree assault lowered. This all comes after he called police in April of last year, claiming he had killed a man and wanted to talk to an officer about it. They later found Harar dead in a storage unit. Wrapping things up with your final story, an evening of celebrating our state as the Nebraska Tourism Awards highlighted everything that's unique and special about the good life.
The most impressive thing for me here is the community, how people are tied together, and the people. You know, it might sound cliche and trite to talk about the people, but the ties here are unbelievable, and that's why I like it here.
The event also celebrated the achievements and contributions of the Nebraska tourism industry. The industry has seen huge growth over the past few years, reaching $4.6 billion. And my co-anchor, Megan Conway, was the MC for the night. And that is your Morning Pulse for this Friday morning, Valentine's Day. And we'll wrap things up with a look at your 7-day forecast.
You've been listening to 1011's Morning Pulse. Watch, listen, stream on the 1011 Now app, on YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Sponsored by Murray Roofing.